Hey, Bulls and Bears. It's JJ here. You're watching Bull Boom Bear Bust. Today we're going to talk about the biggest ways that Americans waste money. And there's a lot of them, but I'm going to try to talk about the most ridiculous ones or the biggest ones and the ones that are most common for typical Americans. And this may be true in several other countries, but what I see here in America is a lot of waste. We waste food, we waste money on especially entertainment items, but it's one of the biggest pet peeves of mine. Now, I've been called by my family, and people know me. I've been called a penny pincher. I've been called a Scrooge, but other people may look at my spending habits and call me a wise spender or a smart shopper. So it all depends on your point of view. But when somebody leaves a light on in a room that they're not in, or if it's the day in the daytime and people have a light on, I'm like, okay, let's open the curtain and turn off the light because you have free light coming in from the window right now, right? And it may sound kind of silly, it may sound like a little thing, but little things like that, leaving a light on when it's light outside and all you have to do is open a window, you multiply that by 1,000 different things that you do that in life, and when you look at it over like a year, you might be wasting thousands of dollars. So today we're going to get into everything from electricity to oil changes to clothing, gift cards and the gift buying, Christmas shopping frenzy, and a lot more. So let's get into it. Now, some of the biggest ones were outlined in this recent article here out of Lifehack. This is lifehack.org. And it's a good website. They have a lot of different money articles, finance articles. A lot of it evolves around personal finance. And we try to dip our toe into a lot of personal finance topics here on this channel, as well as the broader economy. But the number one thing they pointed out here was buying brand name products. And I agree that sometimes brand names are better. For example, my favorite pair of basketball shoes has been Nikes for years, just because of the support, the cushion. So in that case, you end up paying for quality, not always. But when it comes to your feet, a lot of times it is worth it. Kind of like tires on a car, your safety is at risk there. If you get a cheap set of tires and your tire blows out going 75, was it worth it that you saved $30 by getting a cheap pair of tires? So we have to take some of this with a little bit of shopping sense, but I'll give you an example on the opposite end. One of my favorite pairs of jeans is not a famous name brand. It's not Levi's or definitely not a costly brand. It's a pair of jeans I think I found at Burlington Coat Factory for like $18, and I've worn them now for like 3 years. But there are people that'll go out and spend 50, 60, $70 on a pair of jeans. Right, just one example of the name brand product craze. And when it comes to shoes and athletic shoes, of course, there are really good athletic shoes made by major brands like Nike, Adidas. New Balance is big in the world of runners and track and field. But for people just walking around casually, do you really need a 60, 70, 80, $90 pair of shoes? But then you have the fashion side of it. A lot of people like the nice, new, colorful shoes that match their outfit. Some people have 30, 40, 50 pair of shoes just to go with whatever color they happen to be wearing that day. Here in California, we have a lot of people that dye their hair a certain color by matching shoes to match their hair. It's pretty interesting. Number two out of this article, paying someone else for simple car repairs. Now, I've had a little bit of back and forth on this because there's a place here local to me that you can get an oil change for like $22. And there's been times when I've also changed my own oil, but when I broke down the expense, by the time I went out and bought the oil and the filter, I was already spending like $16 to $18. For only $4 more, I could just go and get the oil changed. Now, you also have to look at the time and the convenience. Sometimes you have to sit there for an hour or two to get your oil changed. But there's been times where I say, heck, for $4 more, I'll just have somebody else do it. But there's other things too. Simple things like changing light bulbs, tail light bulbs, headlights, getting corrosion off of your battery terminals. Simple things that you don't even need to be a well-rounded mechanic, and you don't have to have deep knowledge in automobiles to be able to do. A lot of it's just common sense and takes a few minutes to figure it out. Right? Also, my experience is it's very hard to find a honest mechanic. There's been times where I've taken my car in for a simple procedure and miraculously, or maybe just coincidentally, oh, now I need three or four other things the mechanic says. Right? Maybe they're being honest, or maybe they're pulling my leg to try to get more money out of me. I tend to drive older cars, but the more you take your car to somebody else, the more likely you're going to get talked into doing other repairs. All right, I'm just going to skip to the ones that I think are most here. Number 6, paying for cable. That's a big one. Cable, even basic cable, can easily run you $50, $60, $70. If you get the upgrades and the premium channels, you could be spending $100, $150 or more. And now we have streaming, and so many channels now are available on streaming that I think people that are paying for cable are wasting a lot of money. Now, it is a little more convenient, and you don't have to worry about a slow internet speed when it comes to your cable. It's usually a little bit more reliable, but it's certainly something that a lot of people could live without, that are people are paying a lot of money for. Let's jump to number 8 right here, banking. Banking, on average, people pay a lot of money just for banks and their fees, and ATM withdrawal fees, overdraft fees, late fees, you name it. And for many people, it runs in the hundreds of dollars a year. So, for example, the ATM withdrawal fees, if you go to a bank that's not your bank, you might be spending $3 or $4 in some cases just to access your own money. And in some cases, there'll be two fees. There'll be one from the ATM and one from the bank for going to an ATM that wasn't your bank's ATM. Okay, of course, there's also risks of carrying around a lot of cash. For example, try getting pulled over by the wrong police officer with thousands of dollars of cash on you, and you'll be lucky not to end up in the back of a police car because automatically you're, quote, suspicious when you have cash on you. All right, here's one right here, number 15, pricey personal care products. Now, what I've found, there's a lot of ways you can make hygiene products yourself just with a few simple ingredients in many cases. I'll give you one example. Peroxide and baking soda for brushing your teeth works excellent, and it's a fraction of a cost. I think baking soda you can get at the Dollar Tree, and maybe even peroxide. So you have between a bottle of peroxide and a box of baking soda, thousands of times you can brush your teeth for $2. And when you go out and compare that to the cost of toothpaste, it's a huge, it may seem like a small thing, but over the course of a long period, you could be spending a lot of money that you don't have to. Now, there are some good toothpaste out there that have special functions, but for me, my teeth look just as good or better now than they did when I used the store brand toothpaste. Here's one here, energy drinks. I've seen some people buy $2, $3 drinks, and if you get them at 7-Eleven or some convenience store like that, you're going to be paying a lot more. I guess some people buy them by the case at Costco or something like that, but either way, usually it's just a lot of sugar and a bit of caffeine, and somehow people think that because it's called an energy drink, it's healthy for you. It's really not. It's also not healthy for your wallet in most cases. All right, here's another kind of a DIY type of practice here. Buying several different cleaning products and wipes. There are many ways to make your own cleaning products, and they're going to be much less toxic in general than the ones you buy at a store. For example, we mix a little bit of water with some essential oils. I have to ask my wife which oils they are, but they smell really good. They're all natural, and we clean and wipe things down with it, and it doesn't look any worse than stuff you'll buy at a store that has a bunch of different chemicals in it that we really don't know what all these chemicals are. So we save money, and we're also safer versus a lot of these store-bought products. So we'll link to this article. There's a lot more good topics in there, but here's one that really gets me, and I talk about this sometimes when I report on holiday spending. Recent survey, this is out of bankrate.com. U.S. adults have more than $200 billion in unused gift cards or other leftover credits. Now, I think just holiday spending and holiday shopping in general is a pretty big waste. When you buy a gift card and never use it, that is basically just like burning money or just giving money to the store for nothing in return. And I can very much see how people like Jehovah's Witnesses choose not to even celebrate holidays. They think it's a waste or it's against their, views. Not exactly what the religious reason is behind it, but I could definitely see a reason why someone would just say, hey, I'm not going to celebrate any holidays. If I want something, I'll buy it myself. and that way you don't have to worry about getting someone else a gift card that they might lose, or maybe it'll get lost in the mail. Or hey, just stop by and we'll go to lunch and we'll hang out and eat lunch together and you can pay for it. There we go. Don't buy me a gift card, just do that. Or I'll pay for yours. It depends on who had the better month in trading and investing, the way I usually look at it. All right, everybody, that's about all for this one. Let me know what you think. What are the biggest money wasters to you, in your opinion? Do you agree with a lot of the things that we talked about today? Or are there other things that I didn't mention that are even bigger money wasters for you? Let me know down in comments. Be good to hear from you. Thanks again for watching. Continue to ride the bull. Prepare for the bear. Bye for now.